computer so we can have it.
Wow.
No, we got to give him a quick flash. Oh no, I'm not gonna let you flash yours yet. I got you. You got it on the cover. Can you see it on the Facebook?
Yeah, I don't have not yet. I don't know if you.
Awesome. All right, so I'm gonna let some
You have it.
people get on here. Let it rack up a little bit.
Is it on your page?
Yeah, I see it on there. I can see it on my page.
Okay, I
Perfect.
don't I don't have it yet.
It's all right. I got you, bro. So now I gotta tag you on here if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Bop, bop. People are probably like, all right, what's going
It's not
on?
on your page yet.
Yeah, I see it on my. I can see it on my page now.
Do you?
Yeah, it just started recorded too. See a couple people getting on. Like I said, it's recorded right now, so I can see us live. Look, check it out.
All right, no
Cool.
worries.
Welcome, welcome. What's going on, guys? We just got on here, making sure everything is good. So this is our first session of this series that we're putting out here. So for the people that are on the Facebook Live right now, the first thing I want to make sure is that you can hear us and see us okay. We got dressed up for you guys specifically, so we want to make sure you can see us, make sure you can hear us okay, right? Put some ones in the chat or a couple hundreds in the chat if you can hear us and see us okay, because I'm excited about the information that we're about to talk about. I'm excited about getting this thing going before the new year. This is an idea that I had not too long ago, just to put a platform together to be able to bring friends and business partners and mentors and a lot of people to utilize the platform and just to tell their stories and reach out to people. So I'm excited about being here today. I got my man Francesco. Let's go, Chesco, in the building. What's up,
What's up,
Chesco?
my brother?
You hear me good?
I hear you good, man. You hear me good?
Loud and clear, man. Loud and clear. I appreciate you big time for coming on here with me. I know this was kind of last minute, but you always come through every single time I ask you to. I'm extremely grateful for the friendship, extremely grateful for you being here, man. And I'm just excited about what we got going on. The people that are going to see this live, they're going to see the recording, right? We're going to put that out on YouTube too. I was trying to go on IG live, but my phone is like acting up right now. So I'm going to just keep it right here. But what we got going on right now is a 7-figure mindset, right? That's the mindset that people need to be on all 2021 and moving forward, period. And let's talk wealth, right? This is our first session of our episode, you could say, of the series that we're going to have. My personal goal with this is to be able to do this at least 2 times a week, to be able to bring special guests on from all different industries, just to drop some wealth nuggets for my friends, my family, my audience of people who follow what I do and support. So I want to give a huge shout out to God first, right, for us being here. Without him, we wouldn't be on this live, period. Huge shout out to our mentors, the ones that we know and the ones that we don't know, right? We'll get into that later. There's mentors out there that you don't know that mentor you, right? So shout out to them. And just to be able to talk about, our story and where we came from, how we got to where we are right now, and then drop some nuggets for you guys for 2021. And I'll start it off, Francesco. I'll give them a little bit about me. A lot of people, obviously, they're on my live, on my Facebook. They already know who I am, but some people don't really know my story like that. So I'll keep it short. It's not going to be no hour. People say I'm going to keep it short. That'll be an hour long. But what I want to do is just let you guys know a little bit about myself, right? Rob Santiago Cosme. That's where the RSC comes in. If you see it, it's just the initials of my name. I was born in Puerto Rico, Manatí, Puerto Rico, 1990, December, right? Moved to New York City when I was probably like 9 months old, a year old, my mom tells me, and grew up in Harlem, New York City. I was there till about the age of 13. Me and my mom, I'm an only child. She's a single parent. My grandma lived out there, still does to this day. My aunts, uncles on my mother's side. So grew up over there and then moved to St. Petersburg, Florida at the age of 13, 14 years old. Went to Lakewood High School. Shout out to Lakewood. Wasn't the best student in the world, right? I was a maybe C minus, C plus student. I got a lot of sleeping hours in class. Unfortunately, if my teachers are watching this, I'm sorry. I worked at a young age. At 15, I had my first job, man. I was working at Chick-fil-A on Omerton and Feather Sound, right? Is that right over the bridge? That was my first job, man. At 15 years old, working $5.25 an hour. I remember that. That was crazy. And then they bumped it up to like $5.75. I thought I was making big money then, but went from there to car detailing. And then I stepped into the finance industry. I kind of fell into it. I got laid off. A lot of people been through that before. I got laid off. I had my own apartment already at 17, 18 years old. Kind of freaked out, didn't know what to do. And I went to MSCOT. MSCOT Financial gave me an opportunity. I was hungry, coachable. I was willing to learn and become a part of the industry. And I spent 6 years with that company. 6 years, I went from my first year, I became a manager. I started running my own location at 19 years old on Tyrone and 38th Avenue in St. Pete, if you remember where that is. And then from there, man, some life happened to me, right? Kids, mom and myself separated. My kids moved to Tampa. It was just me and my mom's in St. Pete. And from there, I went to Bank of America. Bank of America was where it really started to open up for me. I was able to meet a lot more people. It was a lot more flexible. I learned a lot more, home loans, car loans, credit cards, business, all of that kind of stuff. And to lead to where I am now, I did about 12 years overall in finance, but the last 3 years I've been an entrepreneur. I took a chance, on myself. At one point, I seen a service that worked for some of my family and some of my friends that I knew that I could help with. Everybody here knows that I run a nationwide credit repair company now, but 3 years ago, it was just an idea. I knew that I could help some people. I was always willing to help. And now 3 years later, I'm a six-figure earner in our company. I'm a vice president, one of the first ones in the St. Petersburg area, if not the only one in the St. Petersburg area right now. And it all started with a vision, man. So like I was just wanted to share a little bit about my background or where I came from, what kind of work. I didn't work a lot of jobs. I was very committed. Like I took 6 years at AmSky, 5 years at Bank of America. I was very committed to my craft and try to build. But I always had a passion for helping people, man. I always had a passion for wanting to help people grow financially. Any type of way. If I could provide information that was going to bring you some type of value, I was going to give it to you. If it paid me or not, that's just how it was. And, thank God, now 3 years later, we've been able to bless a ton of people. I was able to meet this young man over here on the other end about what you say, Francesco, like 2 years ago, almost, or a year and a half?
Yeah, about a year and a half.
Yeah, about a year and a half ago, we got a chance to finally meet in person through some mutual friends that we seen on Facebook, made that connection. And I'll let him tell more about his story, but it's crazy to see a year and a half later where you are, the friendship that we've developed, how much we've been able to help each other grow throughout, this journey that we call life. And I feel like I know you for such a long time, bro. It's crazy to think that it's only been a year or so, but I wanted to introduce you to my people, my Facebook, right? And let people know a little bit about yourself and what you've been able to accomplish, and then we'll drop some nuggets on everybody. And if they got any questions or anything, we could go through that too. So the floor is yours, my brother. I want them to know who Let's Go Chesco is.
Hey, man, thanks for the opportunity, bro. Thank God first for being able to put us here together. And definitely keep us on track with this growth mindset, which is actually what's brought us together. So my name is Francesco Franzese. For people that don't know, I go by the name of Let's Go Chesco. Basically motivational speaker, financial insurance advisor for the last 7 years of my life. And I help people lower their taxes, minimize risk, increase their returns, all that good stuff. And don't really want to get into my whole story. I know for the sake of time today. But I think what we were here to do is really talk about a wealth mindset. And that's really to focus on how our mindset is the most important thing that we have. We could talk about making seven figures, but the only way we're going to make seven figures is to have a seven-figure mindset. So I'll take you back into my journey. About 5 years ago, I went through a tragic time. I actually ended up losing everything. I had a really bad divorce, custody issues, maxed out credit cards, lost my home. And in the midst of all that, I left a high salary position in the retail management field to take a commission-only job at the same time. So we get to places where we're like, hey man, I want to inspire others. I want a job with no ceiling. I want time freedom. I want to do all these things, but it's really tough to take that leap of faith. You know, it's like we want everything that we see, but sometimes we don't want what goes with it. We just want what it looks like, you know? And so I was in a situation where everything just kind of fell apart at the same time. And the day that things, I'll take you through the moment where things kind of flipped a switch for me. And basically, there was the day that I remember my lawyer called me and said he needed $3,000 by the end of the week before we went to court. I actually wasn't doing too well at work, and I was actually working for my brother's irrigations company. So I was digging trenches. You know, I'm a businessman. I got soft hands. I was digging trenches and doing everything I could to make some money just to pay actually for some groceries at the time. And I came home, I had $100. I was like, cool, I get some groceries. You know, things were really bad at that time. And I ended up coming home and the power was out. And so my electricity was out. I was on my first day of 5 days, I have custody of my daughter. So they were coming home in 30 minutes. And I was going to have a home with no electricity, no power. Oh, wow. And at that moment, I just broke down, man. I started realizing that I wasn't doing what I needed to do. And I was trying to get somewhere else without making changes to myself. You know, it's like I wanted something new, but I wasn't willing to try something new. And I broke down and I had a talk with God, and really I started going back into church. I started celebrating all the small wins every single day. I got around people that helped me be a better spiritual leader in my home, better spiritual leader in my community. But everybody that I had been around with, when everything fell apart, there was nobody there. And it was a blessing in disguise. I always say that, you know, the gifts that God give you aren't always wrapped with a bow on top. Absolutely. But this was a gift, you know, and that gift was, it allowed me to put the pieces of the puzzle back together again. So I was able to try to reach out to people that had more of a growth mindset, like yourself, like other people that were mentors of mine that saw things in myself before I could even see them, because I was having limiting beliefs. And, you know, to that day, every day from here on out, man, I've tried to grow and do everything I can to inspire others and help people get through that same situation that I had went through, because I noticed that I was more focused on upgrading my cell phone or upgrading my laptop than I was upgrading my mind. You know, so I started to get around the right people and the right things started to happen, man. And I think that's what we're here tonight to talk about.
That's powerful, man. And I know there's people out there can relate. You know, I remember a time where me and my kids were sleeping on the floor at one point. You know, we had a mattress on the floor because we was getting rid of everything, and making those type of adjustments. Like you said, it was a turning point, right? I worked years overtime like crazy, and just to give my family the best life. And life happens, man. Life happens to everyone. But it's how you bounce back from that, right? That was a turning point for me. My mom caught breast cancer. God bless her. She's cancer free now. But at the same time, I went through my separation. I was in the darkest place. Like you said, when everyone's coming to look for you, you're available. But when things hit the fan and you need people, most people are gone, man. And I felt like that. I never felt more alone at that moment, because I didn't really share my problems with people, right? I didn't go out there broadcasting that I got separated. I didn't broadcast that my mom got cancer. I wasn't broadcast how I felt about it, right? I was more of a closed soul, man. I didn't really talk to many people when it came to my own personal, but it was a huge turning point in my life that I'm like, man, life is short. It could switch on you at any point. And you know, you just got to really go out there and strive to do better. I've had some good things happen to me young. You know, I bought my first house at a young age. I was 19 years old. So I had the mindset early, like going, living in New York and East Harlem. I used to see a lot of people in apartments. They still in apartments. There's 3 apartments in my family right now that's 50 plus years old. So that inspired me to want to go out and get my own property. Like my grandmother's one of the first ones to buy a home. Shout out to her. And by 19, I had it. I had my first house, man. I had a mortgage before I could buy alcohol. It was crazy. And it was a blessing, but I ended up selling that house 7 years later. You know, I made my first 6 figures ever at that point. And then it gave me the opportunity to go out there and work for myself, to go out there and test this entrepreneur life, to see, like, I always knew that I was going to do something. I always knew that I was going to make some type of money, that I was going to be that head of household to support my family. I just didn't know what vehicle. I didn't know what it was going to be. I knew it had something to do with finance because I was already in there. But that turning point for me, man, was where it all was. I'm like, look, right now my kids are away from me, about an hour away. I got out of work at 4:30. They get out of school at 1:30. The time don't add up. I needed something that was gonna give me more flexibility, and what more flexibility than working for yourself, right? So man, I remember those times, and the mindset. Now, what we talk about right now is how you push through. How do you push through those moments? That time that you feel like giving up, or like everybody gave up on you. Like, I felt like God gave up. Man, listen, I didn't go to church growing up. I always believed in God and a higher power, but I didn't go to church. I didn't practice religion growing up. But I had an angry prayer, right? You ever heard those? Angry prayers are powerful. Why is this happening to me? Prayer. Why is my mom sick? Why is my kid's mom leaving and everything that we going through after I provided? Why me? Why me? And I had to shift that up. I had to shift my mindset to go from why me to what if I make this happen? What if I could have flexible hours and I could go pick up my kids at 1 o'clock? And I don't have to answer to anybody. What if I make 6, 7 figures and I don't have to worry about the job? And it started changing for me, like you said, getting around like-minded individuals who were doing better than I was. Right. That's one tip that I could give to anybody is it matches the life. If the person don't have the lifestyle that you want, be careful with the advice that you get. Right. The lifestyle meaning spiritually, mentally, material, the house, the cars, all of that. And I found an amazing group of people who inspired me to really step out of my box and to grow to where we are now, man. So like you said, turning point for you, separation, the custody battle. Salute to you. Salute to all the dads, right? Dad, salute to all the guys out there, the good fathers out there going and hustling for theirs. But after you got out of that point, right? Now that you started doing good, getting better money, what keeps you inspired to keep going? Like, you made it through that. We could sit here now, right? And we talk about 2, 3 years later from these time frames and how we've been able to make it through certain situations. But what inspired you to keep growing now that you have a better relationship with the kids, and a lot of money financially is a lot better than it was at one point? Well, what makes you want to keep going?
Yeah, I mean, there's a long list, there's really a long list. And I would have to say, just to piggyback on what you said before, trying to get around the right people, to shift my mindset. And I always say this: if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You definitely want to be around people that have what you want. If they're not achieving where you want to go, then what are you getting from that? What are you getting from them? So I had to evaluate who I wanted to be around. Who I needed to be around, and sometimes telling me the things that I didn't want to hear, but knew that were going to help me get where I needed to be. But a lot of fear happened with that, and a lot of fear of failure. And there were times where people would come to me and say, well, you got to fail forward, you got to fail big, fail often. And yeah, that's great and all. I mean, the quotes are awesome, and the motivation is great. I mean, I'm a motivational speaker, and I tell people all the time, motivation isn't everything. Motivation is only going to give you a spark that hopefully will spark you to take action, because taking action is going to cure everything.
Yep.
That's the cure to everything, is taking the next step. But when you get to those moments, like you said a minute ago, and you're asking me, what happens when you do get brought down to those moments, and what's going to help catapult you and push you forward, is knowing what your why is. Why do you want to get out of the situation you're in? And if it's about you, it's not going to take you that far. If it's about you, then the moment you wake up and you don't want to get out of bed, you're gonna say, you know what, I'll be good. I'll be good. But when you really take a look at the people that are depending on you, the people that are counting on you, then if you don't show up, you're letting them down. And that's where all the magic happens, because you take a look at the people that are depending on you. And if you don't take action and move forward, you're disrespecting the people that love you. You're disrespecting the people that you have to take care of. And those people, to me, were my children, at that time, because I had to show them an example of what happens when you get knocked down. It's okay to get knocked down. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you learn. I mean, you take your mistakes and you use them as stepping stones to help you get to success. But you can't stay there. And that's the key. It's like, I know that I'm always on a stage. So it's bigger than myself. So you have to find something bigger than yourself to be able to catapult you through those moments where you're getting pulled back.
And that's a major point that people overlook, and I don't think they just take it as serious, right? You hear a lot of successful people say, man, if the why doesn't make you cry, it's not strong enough. The why is why, the reason why I go so hard. And people, like, some people don't got a why. Some people are creating their why right now, and I feel that everybody does. They just don't know what it is yet,
Well,
right?
I think, to anybody that is out there that is struggling with that, I want to kind of touch on that really fast. Anybody that's struggling with that, I just want to tell you something. 100,000 people will die today. 100,000 people will take their last breath today.
Mm.
So if you're breathing, I would have to say that's a good reason.
Yeah, agreed.
So start with that, because once you're grateful for the breath in your body, then you could take that and run with it. Because I'll tell you, a lot of people like to say to themselves, "Oh yeah, this, and yeah, that." It's, I mean, they can make every excuse that you could possibly come up with.
Mm-hmm.
But understand, there's somebody that would do everything to take that breath from you. So what are you doing with that breath? So when people are struggling with trying to figure it out, start there.
Absolutely. That's powerful, bro. And that's one thing, as we continue throughout this and give tips, like, that's an important tip. I hope people taking notes. My why got to be strong. If you took a breath this morning, that's a huge why, right? That you got to keep going. It's a reason why you're here, and 100,000 people aren't, like you said. And that was big for me too, man. My kids, what was the biggest thing for me? My daughter, and my son, to see us go from, and my family too. I don't got a huge family. Being Hispanic though, it's kind of crazy, but I don't got a massive family. Like, I don't. My immediate family is pretty small, man. I got a bunch of single mothers. Not too many fathers were around in our lifetime. And that was a big thing for me to show my son that regardless of how hard the knockdown was, because he was old enough to see it. He was about 2-3 years old when all of this stuff was happening. So he's just old enough to really witness that, we were sleeping on the ground, and it got to a point that it was a real reason why I kept driving this thing. I knew one day I'd be driving a nicer car, living in a better place. But it was kind of cool to be able to show him the process, because now I'm a superhero. You know what I mean? He sees me,
Right.
I'm home all the time, not home all the time, but working from home. I remember when we were able to go pick up our new car a couple months ago. 7 years, he was 6 years old now, but man cried in the car. Like, it hit him. You know what I mean? He was excited to see his dad go from living in a house to hitting rock bottom to now being able to step back up. And now he's understanding, I could do something. I could do something like what daddy's doing. Like, I don't gotta go work for something. Now I know I could run a bit. My son just turned 7 on the 21st of December, and he's already talking about business and clients and credit and billion. Like, he don't speak 100,000 now. He's like, oh, I want to be a millionaire. I want to be he's telling me the list of cars that he wants, and I'm like, bro, I gotta go hard because your list is expensive. But it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing to be able to just show him that regardless of how hard you get knocked down, you can jump back up if you stay consistent and you have faith, right? One thing that got me through everything was having faith. I wasn't huge into going to church. I'm more now, right? I'm closer to God than ever before. But at that time was just, man, I know I'm here for something bigger. I know I'm not the only person that this is happening to. I know somebody is going through something worse than me right now, and they're not complaining about it, and they getting the work done. So why am I here complaining about it, right? I got to go out there and make this thing happen. No one's going to go save you, right? That was it. No one's going to come in with the life vest and come and save you and pay your bills and pay the child support. Nobody's going to come and do that. You got to go out there, eliminate the excuses and control your emotions and just get back to the why, the mindset, the whole reason why we're talking about this, right? The tips that we're giving these people right now is that the why is important. Having that mindset to get you through the worst of the worst. Somebody's going through something worse than you right now. Having that goal or vision, right? One thing that keeps me going right now, because some people are like, man, they work their whole life to buy a house. They work their whole life to buy a nice car, or you know what I mean, or whatever, or open up a business. But to understand that the big vision, you got to have big vision. You got to be the crazy one, right? The crazy one in the group, to see yourself at a level that no one else sees you at, or they can't even imagine being at that level. And the only thing it was, man, was the mentors. I had mentors around me that they expanded my vision to another level. You know, when I thought making 40,000 a year, 50,000 a year was, that was life, bro. You know, that was it. I was gonna retire at Bank of America. I got a pen, I got a 401k. I'm making 45 a year. Coming from where I come from, it's a blessing. I barely got out of high school, no college, no nothing, to make 20,
Well,
21
bro,
an hour. It was a blessing. But now I'm looking at six figures, like, bro, it's not enough. It's not enough. I'm not. The mindset is expanded. That's why we call this a seven-figure mindset. Because now I got mentors that are making 3, 4, 5 million a year. You know, and some more than that. Like we said, mentors that we don't know, right? Making 100 million a year, and it's like, wow, what my family? What can I do for them? Like you said earlier, it's not about me. The big vision is not Rob. It's like I could see retiring my grandmother, my mother, my girl's mother, my
right.
kids. I had the conversation with my daughter about what car she wants to drive when she's 16. She's only 10 right now. So, like, you know, all of these visions. Now I got her picture of the car that she wants to drive on my vision board. You know, it's not about me.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's not about me. So I'm looking at those kind, and I'm trying to, and I'm showing my kids that process now. They're like, Papi, what's this board you got? What is that? Oh, what kind of car is this? That's a big house. That's the what? All of this stuff. And I'm like, look, we got to think bigger. We're gonna get there.
Right.
I'm working
Right.
so
You tell
hard
them all
right now.
day.
Yeah, I do.
You could you could tell them all day what they need to do, but they're not going to learn until they see it from you.
Yeah,
You know, so when you exemplify exactly what you want to show them, and you actually are the person that you say you are, that's where, you know, the magic happens. So
and
I
that's
think
where.
ultimately we didn't know when we were younger, you know, or not so much we, but I know the story that you're telling, you know, you weren't introduced to this lifestyle even understanding that it was a possibility. But by you showing your children what can happen, you're changing your, you know, generational curses that you have. You know, no disrespect to any upbringing that you had in the past. I'm sure there was a lot of love, but as far as financial freedom, as far as being able to do what you want to do on your own terms, nobody understands that until they have somebody that comes in their life and shows them it can be done.
And they'll think you crazy. Like when I was gonna leave Bank of America, my mom looked at me like, boy, you insane? Like you got benefits. You've been working here for 5 years. You
I
want to
know,
go out
bro.
and try to do this thing on your own now? Why? Why would you want to do that? You know, and it's just the mindset. You got to remember that there wasn't
I've
any, like you
been
said, no
commission only.
disrespect. Yeah, no disrespect, but there was no
It's
one in my family who had exceeded a certain dollar amount or certain time. Shoot, barely anybody made it out of high school. You know, so for me growing up, that's why when I looked at 45 a year, 40 a year, it was like I made it. Like I'm
let's go.
good. Yeah, I'm straight. Ma, look, I bought a house. I got my car is paid off. I'm making 40,000 a year. I got 20K
Right.
in my 401k. I'm straight. Like I don't got nothing else to do. Just keep living life, right? And it was a rude awakening, man, to be like, there's so much more to. And you said something, and it lead the way. It's leadership in that. Even as a parent, you could tell them what to do, right? But if you show them how to do it, it's different. Like what they say, show a man how to fish, right? You can say it better than me. Feed them for a lifetime. And that's something that I take a lot of passion in right now because our kids are sponges. Our friends are our teams, right? The people who look up to us. Right now, I mentor hundreds of people across the country, and they look up to me, and not because I tell them what to do, because I show them what to do. I
You're
go out.
committed
Yeah,
because
I
you're
go out and
committed,
put the
bro.
work in, man. And man, it's exciting, bro. It's exciting. I know there's a lot of big things coming in 2021, you know, for both of us and all the people that we encounter and cross paths with. And it's just exciting, man. It's exciting to know that we're just at the beginning of this thing still, right? It's still early. We got so much more to learn and so many more people to help. 2021 is gonna be insane. Prayers to everyone, because usually when big blessings are coming, the devil don't like that. So a lot of the time he tries to attack you and attack your people around you and the support that you had to get to certain areas. But keep your faith, man. That's one thing I want to tell people. Keep your faith high. Trust the process, and make a mess. Clean it up later. Go out there and just do it. We were talking about it, right? You can't what was it? Be a perfectionist. You just got to go and you got to jump.
Well, you're never, yeah, you're never, one of my favorite quotes of all time is that you're never great when you start something, but you got to start to become great. I mean, you can't become who you want to become without starting. I mean, and you're gonna suck. It's
Yeah.
you're gonna be terrible. It's like, I started going live about a year ago, but it was you, it was a buddy and Joe also broke, and a few other people that poured into me that were like, bro, you just got to do it. Like, and here I am a year later, and I got people that are like tuning into me doing lives, and it's like you got to start somewhere. And I mean, it's like riding a bike. I think it's like this, bro. I gotta say this. It's kind of like this. It's like when you ride a bike, right? You fall down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what do? You get back up and ride the bike, right? Everybody wants to learn how to ride the bike and not fall down. You can't focus on the risk. I mean, I've been a commission-only 1099 person, employee, entrepreneur since 2016, 2015, 5 years now. So I think at the end of the day, you can't look at the risk when you take a chance. When you want to learn something new, you can't look at the risk. You got to look at the reward.
Agreed.
You got to look at what you're going to receive out of this. So, if I learn how to ride this bike, I'm going to be able to get to the store and get some candy bars, a lot quicker than if I walk there, right? That's the reward, right? I know it's a lot different when we get older, but I know if I go ahead and start making live videos, I'll be able to, reach more people. Yeah, am I going to screw up? Sure. Am I going to stutter? Yeah. Am I going to say everything wrong? Sure. Are there things that I'm going to see and I'm going to say, hey, I could have done better? Of course. But everything happens in the practice. I mean, if you're not taking steps forward, you're not growing, and I think the problem is, bro, I think everybody wants the safe life. Everybody I want all this, but I only want to do this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want, and then everybody's wondering why, only certain people got all this money in Bitcoin when they did, I should have did this and I should have done that. Well, do it while you got the opportunity,
Yeah.
I mean, we look at adversity like it's a bad thing, bro. And I think that's the problem with society. Discomfort is where we grow. When we endure pain, that's where we grow. We wouldn't learn how to ride the bike if we didn't fall off. You know what I'm saying? I went through a terrible divorce. I lost a lot of friends. I started speaking on stage, and thank God nobody threw tomatoes on me.
Yeah, right.
But I was stuttering. I looked like Eminem on 8 Mile, man. I mean, I lost everything, bro. But if I didn't go through that adversity, I wouldn't be who I am now.
Yeah.
And I've said this before, and I gotta say this, bro. I gotta get this off. I'm sorry if I'm talking too much.
You're good. I love it.
People pay for a gym membership, right? Right? You pay for a gym membership. Then you're paying for pain, right? But seriously, let's be real. If you pay for a gym membership, you pay for pain, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, if you're lifting weights, it's painful, right? But what happens when you go through the pain?
You grow.
So why don't we look at the challenges in life the same way?
Powerful.
Why do we look at adversity in a negative way? If we look at a challenge, it's going to be painful, but we know we're going to grow. And like, you and I both, we love Eric Thomas, he says it all the time. Pain is temporary. You're already there. Get a reward from it. Keep going.
From it. I remember
you
that
said it the other day.
Yeah.
You said it the other day. If you didn't break me when I was in this situation, if you didn't break me here, if you were going to give up, you should have gave up 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Why give up now when you're right there? So I think ultimately, and I said this before, adversity to us mentally is like weightlifting to us physically. It strengthens us and helps us grow.
Yeah, bro. It's a great way to look at it. And again, failing forward. A lot of people are So for something like this, we could use that as a topic, like just being able to public speak. What 95% of people are. That's one of the biggest fears ever is to do that. Myself too. I remember sitting in the cubicle at the bank. If 2 or 3 people came in at the same time, I was like, "Whoa, there's a lot of people," right? Like, and now to be able to talk on stages in front of hundreds, if not thousands of people at a time now. But I started scared. I started scared. I didn't know what I was gonna say. It's crazy that one of my first live videos that I did about my business now came up in my memory this morning 3 years ago. And I remember I was driving to work. Don't drive in live, right? Don't do that. But I did that and I said it. I didn't know what I was gonna say. I knew what I was gonna do. All I knew was like, man, I gotta start going live. And that was 3 years ago. I knew eventually.
Ow.
Yeah, eventually I was gonna get better. I sucked. I sucked in the beginning. I even dropped the curse and everything, and on like I was cursing in my life and everything. I was so excited about it. I was like, man, this is real. And my belief was up in the air, and that's very important. Your energy and what you transfer through in your belief system. Like, couldn't nobody tell me that this thing that I seen it work, right? So now I didn't know what I was gonna do. Randomly, hey guys, look, I'm driving to work right now, but we got an event later on tonight at 7. I'm showing people that I was working a full-time job and a part-time job and then working on my business when I came home. So you telling me that I was leaving the bank, I was going to a part-time, and then I was going to an event at 7 o'clock to invite people. The grind was heavy. But now looking at it 3 years later, people like, Rob, you seem so comfortable in front of the camera. I put in some hours. How many hours have you put in your craft, right? They say 10,000 hours to become a professional.
What was that song? Where were you when I was shooting in the gym?
Yeah, where you was that when I was shooting, right? Shout out to Drake. But like you got to put the time in. And people, like you said, they want this much effort. They got a 7-figure appetite with a minimum wage effort. It don't work. It don't add up.
No.
So I understood at a younger age that, bro, I was gonna have to put in the work for somebody. I was always a hard worker. Work ethic for me was nothing. Like detailing cars in the cold and the heat, regardless, 16, 17-hour days, we could make that happen. But learning that time we don't get back, right? No, understanding how important that was to that now value yourself more. I learned that I was worth more than $20 an hour. And the value that we're able to provide people now is there's no cap on how much we can earn, especially like you said, being a 1099 now, you write your checks, and people don't understand that. They're like, oh, if it's not coming in every 2 weeks or every week or every month, how they're used to doing it, it ain't a real gig. And I'm glad that you put that out there, because 5 years of being a 1099, an entrepreneur yourself, I bet before that you didn't expect to be where you are now. And what's crazy is that now, when you say that you've been in a 1099 for 10 years, another 5 years from now, where you're going to be? Oh, man. I can't wait, bro. You know, I'm going to be saluting you the whole time. I'll be rooting you on the whole time. But the next 5 years is going to be, the next 5 years is going to be incredible as long as you continue to stay consistent and you continue to work the hours of your craft, right? People work 10,000 hours at a job and still an employee.
Well, people, exactly. I know.
Yeah, it's rough.
But that's what we're here to talk about is mindset. I know we're getting tight on time, but I think, everybody has the opportunity. I'm not saying that everybody's gifted in different ways to do the same thing. I'm not going to beat LeBron James in a basketball game. Yeah. But if I could tap into where my strengths are and just stop caring about failing, stop caring about not looking good, and understand what's going to happen if I just do it for X amount of years. You have people in your industry that, and I know I don't want to get into too much, but you have people in your industry that are making millions of dollars in a couple of months that started out making zero, and might have only made, I think it was maybe a couple $100 in the first year, wasn't even, and then not even a decade later, they're making millions and millions of dollars because they stayed consistent. So if you were to say, hey, if you tapped into your strengths, got a mentor, and went ahead and started doubling down on the things that you're good at, you would become a millionaire in 10 years? I don't understand. People just want that immediate gratification in 3 months. But if they gave you something in 3 months, you wouldn't even be ready for it.
Not ready
Because it's like
for it.
95% of people that hit the lottery, they go broke in like 6 months because they're not ready for it. Their mindset's not ready for it. It's
Oh,
like I was on a call the other night, and somebody said, "Hey man, how do I get 1 million followers on Instagram?" And the person looked at him and said, "Hey, are you ready for 1 million followers? What would you do with 1 million followers?"
yeah.
And they're like, because the last time I checked, you've only posted 3 things. You don't even have an offer, no business, no website. So what would you do with 1 million followers?
If I gave you them
So
right now,
everybody wants something before they're even ready for it.
I love that, man. That's so
You
true.
know, it's crazy, bro. But you know, we got to evolve and continue to grow, and it's just being around the same people that really have that growth mindset.
Yeah,
And
man.
I just try to share that every morning, man. I got to throw a plug in before we leave on my
Of course.
2 minutes to win it, man.
Of course, of course. I'll let you talk on that, but like it's powerful, bro. Everything that we talked about right now, like I said, that mindset, understanding that you have to, it's gonna take time. It's gonna take time to build something significant. Like you said, one of my mentors, I remember he was in the industry for 3 years and made 1,400 bucks in 3 years. As a part-time, just trying to build something, learn, understanding that in 10 years, when I hit 10 years, I'm gonna be at a whole nother level. And it's crazy exactly what he did. Like now, and I've watched him for the last 4 years in our industry. And in the last three, he's been a seven-figure earner. And to see where he came from and humble and to be able to provide, like people, and you got those type of selfless leaders that just want to share, man, share the information, and want to see other people win. That's why they're winning, but they put the time in, right? Think about the music artists that put in 8 years, 10 years in the industry, networking and building up and doing show for show. Think about the comics, the comedians, right? What about Kevin Hart? That's a great example. When he first started underground, like before, how many comedy shows did he have to do before he got a movie? Right? Before he got how
Right.
many movies did he have to do before he filled up the arena? Right, the
For
stadium.
sure.
It took him a long time, and we all watched his growth. But now he's at a peak of his career. But it didn't start, guys. It didn't start this year. He's been grinding. He's been putting in the work for the last 10, 15 years. So I just love the people that stay consistent. Understand that it's a long-term game, long-term vision, right? And I always get that picture of the guy chopping at the diamond. That guy chopping at the diamond. You see, there's two
One
people.
left, and
Yeah,
they're right there.
there's one in the top, and he's turning away, and he's one chop away from hitting the diamond because he gave up right before his breakthrough. And that's
Right.
one tip that I want to give to everybody before I let you finish off and let people know where they can see you at is be patient. Be patient. Don't give up. The breakthrough is tough. It's not easy. That's why it's called a breakthrough. But it takes time, and there's a lot of people that fail because they turned away from their vision right before it exploded. And it sucks. And that's one thing that I always feared, that I was right there just about to grab success, and I just gave up and started over on what? Like you said, we too deep in. Have patience, trust the process, and when things are going bad, that means that good things are coming. So just keep going. So I want you to share with everybody who's here how they can follow you. Where they can follow you at. Obviously, your 2 minutes to win it. Give them a quick spiel on that, and then we'll end it off there, brother.
Yeah, appreciate you, bro. So basically, you can find me anything. Let's go, Chesco, all one word. On Instagram, it's Let's Go _ Chesco. Same thing on Twitter. But as far as what I'm doing right now is like we just said, I'm focusing on being consistent. Not really focused on where I'm going to be. Just focusing on the next day at hand and trying to stay consistent and knowing where it's going to take me eventually. So I have something called 2 minutes to win it, and it's every Tuesday and Thursday morning. I go live on my Facebook page. And basically what it is it's for two different people. It's for one person that's going through challenges. Because I remember when I was going through the biggest challenges and the toughest seasons of my life, I had to turn to Tony Robbins, Eric Thomas, Jim Rohn, all these people to help get me in the right mindset for the day. I would have, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour. out of my day that was good, and the rest of it I'd just be walking around with my head down because I'd be faced with such a difficult situation that I'd be looking forward to those small moments. So I try to just bring 2 minutes. There's 1,440 minutes in a day, and there's only 2 minutes that I want to spend with you to help you win the rest of them. And that's kind of how I look at it for people that are doing that. And then also the other piece of it is that anybody that's an entrepreneur, or anybody that's in the trying to get in the right mindset for the day, in sales, even in a relationship, whatever it is, I say if you want to win the day, you got to win the morning. So I do these in the morning at 8 o'clock, and I feel like a little bit of motivation will help give you that spark to maybe take action in your life. And I want to just try to see if I can inspire one person every day to shift their mindset to be able to do that. And it's very similar to the things that we're talking about now. It could be business related, it could be just mindset related, it could be relationships, whatever it is, just really trying to focus on something that I know God's put on my heart to kind of share every morning to hopefully lead somebody in the right direction with a positive attitude that day. And that's pretty much it, man. So I just I love trying to inspire others and hopefully see if I can help somebody get out of a situation. Like they say, you get out of a situation, you want to reach back and help somebody get where you're at. That's only the right thing to do.
I love it, man. Everybody who's on here who watches this, the replay, I know I tune in at 8 o'clock. My team does too. Shout out to the whole team. Always motivating people out there, man. I'm excited for you. And for this year, it's going to be fun. This is the start of it. We start in 2021 and 2020. That's how you're supposed to do it. That's what the pros do. Shout out to you. Look, you got the brand on the chest. Oh, man, look. I love it, bro. Let's go, Chesco. Thank you for being a part of this with me, man. First of many. I know we're going to do many more together, but I greatly appreciate your time this evening. And I know everybody on the live is going to take value from what we talked about. So I'm going to end it here. This is recorded so we can get it back to you. And again, man, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, absolutely. God bless you, man. And everybody that's watching this, I hope you guys have a blessed evening. And like I always say, take ownership, take action, and take off, baby.
That's it. Peace. All right, my brother.